So in my last video, I made this custom Echo Sword, which is a tier over the Netherite Sword, and you crafted with the Echo Shards. But you know what looks a lot like Echo Shards? Amethyst Shards. So yeah, I think you know where I'm going with this. So the way you're going to get the Amethyst Sword is kind of the same way as you get the Echo Sword, where for the Echo Sword you drop 2 Echo Shards and 1 Netherite Sword on top of a Skull Catalyst, and then you get the Echo Sword. So then the way you're going to get the Amethyst Sword is that you're going to drop 2 Amethyst Shards and 1 Netherite Sword on top of a Budding Amethyst, and then you're going to get the Amethyst Sword. Now you might be thinking it's a little bit weird to have 2 swords you can forge the Netherite Sword into, but I think it's actually pretty cool. You know, you can have 1 dark side of the Netherite Sword and 1 light side of the Netherite Sword. So now let's just make a way to get the Amethyst Sword. So I'm just going to copy this command block, 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 and this command block for my Echo Sword. And then I'll just paste them in. So now if I throw 1 Netherite Sword and 2 Amethyst Shards here, then nothing happens. Why? Oh, I need to convert them.
2 hours later.
Alright, so now all of the command blocks are converted. So now if I just throw 2 Amethyst Shards up here and then 1 Netherite Sword, then it becomes an Amethyst Sword. But right now there isn't any particles or sound effects when you make the Amethyst Sword. You can just throw that onto there and then throw the sword and then you got yourself an Amethyst Sword. So yeah, I'm gonna make all of the particles and sound effects now. I want to die. Alright, so now all of the particles and sound effects are finally in, and yeah, this trade is a lot longer now, but this is then how it looks and sounds. So I'm using the block Amethyst blocked particle in a 0.075 block radius, speed of 0 and then count of 100, like around the sword. So that's basically the particle that comes when you destroy the Amethyst block, and it's just like in a small radius around the sword. And then I'm also using the dust particle with the coloring 0.5, 0.3, and 0.85. So this here is kind of like the coloring of the Amethyst, and then the size of 0.75. So like it's a little bit smaller than usual. And then it's in a radius of 0.5 blocks, speed of 0, and then count of 250. So it's quite a lot of them, but like they're small enough so that all of the other particles can show through, but that they're still visible. And then I'm also using the firework particle in a 0.025 block radius on the X and Z axis, but 0.05 on the Y axis, so that like it's a little bit higher up than usual. But that's just because like the sword is a little bit more vertical than horizontal, and then 0 speed and then count of 10. So like it's right at the sword, and yeah, like you can see it on the Amethyst block kind of afterwards, and I think that looks good. And then the sound effects is the Amethyst block step with just normal volume and normal pitch. And like I feel like that sounds pretty good, just like the sound effects for when you step on the Amethyst. And then I'm also using the Amethyst block chime with a lot of volume and just normal pitch. But the volume is because just with normal volume you can barely hear it. Like if I just do this command, you can't even hear it. But if I do it with high volume, then you can actually hear it, and it actually sounds really, really good. And that's actually all of the particles and sound effects. Like, it's not as many as for the Echo Sword, but still, I feel like it gives off the same vibe, just more tame, which is kind of the thing that I wanted to do here. So yeah, like I really like how it looks and sounds, so yeah, that's then the summoning complete. So now that I can finally get the Amethyst Sword, then I want to give it a special ability, just like I did with the Echo Sword. Now what I did with the Echo Sword was that when I dropped it, then I fired out like a projectile that damages all enemies that it touches. Now, of course, I won't do the exact same thing as the Echo Sword, but instead what I'll do is that I'll make so that when you drop the Amethyst Sword, then you won't actually drop it, just like the Echo Sword. But then when you drop it, then the closest mob within maybe like 5 blocks or something will get a little Amethyst bud at its feet. And then the Amethyst bud will grow. And grow. And grow. And grow. and grow. So first I'm going to add in the scoreboard Amethyst Sword cooldown. That's going to be a dummy. And then I'll just copy this command block, 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 and this command block from the Echo Sword. And then I'll just paste them all in. And then I'll just have to convert all of these command blocks. Yay! I want to die! Alright, so now all of the command blocks have been converted. So now if I just drop the Amethyst Sword, then I don't actually drop it. Now, nothing happens right now, but if I summon in a husk, then as you can see on the scoreboard there, it goes up, and I think it goes up to 100. And then it dies, and then it counts down from 51 down to 1, so that's then 2.5 seconds cooldown before I can then do it again. So yeah, I did also do the killing, not just like the dropping system, but at least now I can just get on to actually adding in the Amethyst Bud, and then also all of the particles and stuff. Now for the Amethyst Bud, I would use that new entity. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's something in 1.20. That's basically just right-click detection, left-click detection, and whatever block you want, I'm pretty sure, or that's another entity, but either way, it's so good, and I just really want it, but right now, as you can see there, I'm on 1.19.3, not on 1.20. So yeah, I can't do that, so instead I think I'm going to just use like that actual block. So then instead of, for example, just having one large amethyst that just slowly grows, then it's first like a small amethyst, and then a medium, and then a large, and then just a normal amethyst cluster, I guess. I also don't know how it's gonna be like when there isn't a block under it, for example in water or in the air or something like that. So I might actually use ghost blocks instead, because like I've got some experience with that at least. So if I just execute as at E with the score of Amethyst Sword cooldown matches 1, then run summon a falling block with all of this data, and then I also need to remember to execute also at S so that it doesn't just summon them in at the command block, and oh, why do I have a trail now? That's actually pretty cool. Oh, it's because I also have the Amethyst Sword cooldown at 1, so I guess instead of that I could make it be at 2. Because I just want it so that then, if I just do this, and then I drop it, then, as you can see there comes like a little amethyst bud. And then if I now kill all falling blocks, then that's 2 entities? Wait, what? Oh, right, because then it also summons in an amethyst bud when my scoreboard goes down. Oh, wait, I just thought of something. So, right now, it's Amethyst Sword cooldown at 1. And right now, it would activate at me. But I can also do tag, and then I think I have it copied. Just kidding, I take that back. Okay, so now it's in there, so then the tag of Amethyst Buddy. So then, if I now drop this, then there comes a little amethyst thing there, but I don't have a trail after me, because then I basically just execute at, like, the person that's going to get killed. And then now what I can do is just paste in this command block for all of the different amethyst clusters, and then make it so that then they appear at different times, so that it looks like the amethyst cluster is growing. Alright, so now all of the amethyst buds are in, so now if I just test it out on this husk, then as you see there, it starts out small, and then it grows slowly, and then the husk dies. And then, you know, there's like the fully grown thing and stuff. This works great. It's just that now this amethyst bud will stay here forever. So I think the way I'm going to fix that is just by detecting when my cooldown is at 30, then it kills all of the amethyst buds. So then this command should do it. So yeah, it's pretty easy. So now if I just test it out again, then you grow. That's good. And then after it gets killed, then it disappears. Okay, that's good. And it also kind of disappears, like, as the husk also disappears, like, as the model disappears. That's pretty cool. And now this attack is working pretty great. It's just that this husk spawning isn't actually a real husk spawning. This thing is. Because this husk spawning actually summons in a husk with no AI. Whilst if I do the attack on a normal husk, then he can just walk around. You can walk. No, okay. So that husk didn't want to walk, but like they can walk. That's my point. Yeah, as you can see there. So I think it'll actually be pretty easy to fix. I think I'll just have to make it so that then just the tag, or then the husk with the tag will just have no AI. I hope what I just said made sense. Anyways, so this command is basically what I just said. So now for the summon in a husk with AI, and then I do the attack. Then if I try to hit him, then he doesn't take any knockback, which is a sign that he doesn't have any AI. Now, right now, the Amethyst Bud attack is an insta-kill, so like you can just kill anything instantly with it. But I think I'm actually going to keep it that way, because in this command, I've actually excluded like a bunch of things like hopper minecarts and stuff, but also all of the bosses and those people that I feel like you shouldn't be able to one-shot. And I feel like an insta-kill is just really good for a lot of mobs, and just not bosses, so yeah, I'm just gonna keep it like this. And now this attack is finally completed, so like no bugs that I know of, and like everything is working, and yeah, all of that. Now I just gotta do all of the sound effects and particles. That's gonna take 5 hours.
One eternity later.
Okay, so now all of the particles and sound effects are finally completed, and this is a lot bigger now, but at least now this is then how it looks and sounds. So I'm using the dust particle with the same coloring and size as the as this command block, which is for just when you make the sword, and then a distance or radius of 0.75, and then speed of 0, and then count of 300. So that's like the only particle that's around you, but like I feel like it looks pretty good, just kind of like as a cloud of amethyst or something around you, which doesn't really make much sense when I say it out loud, but I think it looks okay. And then I'm using the amethyst block chime sound effect with 10 volume and then normal pitch. Now, before I said that it needed like a lot of volume, but I found out that you don't actually need that much volume. And then I'm also using the amethyst block hit sound effect at normal volume and normal pitch, so that's kind of to add like a little bit more punch like at the start of the sound effect, and also to give it like a little bit more recognizability, I guess. So like that it's kind of the main thing that you're hearing there. And then I'm using the amethyst block particle like at the amethyst bud, so that's like you can pretty clearly see the particles, and then in a 0.1 block radius, speed of 0, and then count of 1, so like it's pretty clear. Like right there, just the particles that come off the little amethyst bud, and like it isn't really how the amethyst buds work, but I think it looks good. And now the amethyst sword's special ability is finally completed, and also the entirety of the amethyst sword actually. So if you enjoyed the video, then just remember there's a button for that. But yeah, this will be everything for this video, so bye!